Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Adedotun.
Oh, how are you, sir? How did your day go today?
Hey, my brother. Okay, my daughter said you said beautiful.
Oh, okay. Your daughter said you should say it's beautiful, right?
Yes.
I didn't get that.
Yes, I said my daughter asked me to tell you beautiful.
Oh, okay. Which of them? The first or the second?
The second.
Oh, that your daughter saw me on Sunday and she was like, so please, where's Auntie Magdalene? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know where. She said, but she's your, I was like, yeah, that's God bless those kids, God bless them. All right. Naya, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Okay. Were you able to make the gym today?
No, I did go again.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. We have to.
No, it's fine.
All right. So this is where we stop in the morning. Like I said, we are going to do one or two things on our GPO. Remember what we did on our GPO? If you remember, we were talking about group policy, what we can use it to be. So this is what your group policy can do: apply security settings, manage desktop application settings. So desktop application settings means that if your organization has what we call a legacy app, do you understand me? What we call a legacy app?
Sorry, what did you say?
I need you to concentrate. The class has started. Okay. So if your organization has what we call a legacy app means that, for example, okay, let's share an experience from Mr. Kaude, who works in a financial organization. Okay, so Mr. Kaude, would you like to tell us one or two applications you work with at work that is not public, that is basically for your workplace?
Okay. All right. I think one of such is we have numerous app that we work with, depending on the department that you belongs to. You understand? For people like
that control people's accounts.
okay, like in customer service now, there is one we call that one we call it cellulant, and
Okay,
what
good.
that does,
Okay.
what that does is that with that particular app, you will be able to enroll customer for them to be able to use their mobile number. You will match it to the account, and with that same app, you use it to link it to their mobile app to all their emails, to get emails and to get any information from the bank. That is where we play such that the customer can have access to all of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kaulu. So now, what's the name of the app again?
We call it Cellulant.
Okay, now let's assume the company we are talking about since morning. Remember, we also have that Cellulant. Now I want to ask you, that Cellulant, is it on Play Store?
No, it's not.
Is it on Apple Store?
No.
So now you understand what I mean by legacy app now. It is not public. It is for that particular organization. So because they paid so much money to develop that app, so that app can do all those functions you said. Naya, please, we are in a class that are background distractions.
I am not the one. I don't have any background distraction.
Okay.
I don't have any background distraction.
Mr. Gayode, is it coming from your side? Please help us check background distractions, please.
That's in workouts from there.
All right, so like Mr. Kaude gave an example, for example, Cellulant. There's no way you can not Google Cellulant and see Cellulant online. You know what I mean? You can't Google it and see Cellulant. Why? It is not a public product. It is a private application designed by a particular organization that they use internally. Okay. Now, the organization Mr. Kawade works for has over 200 branches. That I'm certain of that. Okay. But that particular application, and then the company he works for has over, let's say, close to 100,000 staffs. Okay. So now that company would have, let's say, 20,000 of their staffs that will use that application because the application is customer facing. Did you hear what he said? That application is developed to match an account with customer phone number and then with their email so that transaction can be seamless. Do you understand the idea? So now the organization said this is what we want, and then they've gone to software developer to develop that particular thing for the organization. And then this is where you come in, you the administrator, your IT administrator. Now, when the software developer finish the product, they bring it and put it in the data center. Remember what your data center is, I've taught you.
Yes, sir.
Or in your server room. So inside your server, they put it inside the server blade or your OS server, that will be controlled by these images that you are looking at. Are you getting the idea? So now I'm trying to explain to you what your desktop application is. So that application is a legacy application. It's called legacy. Why? It belongs to the organization. It's not a public organization. So now you can use GPO to control and manage that application. Why? You can say this application can be used only by customer service alone, or can be used by marketing staffs alone, or can be used by sales teams alone. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Do you get it? So this server, you put all your applications. When I asked Mr. Kawade, he said something he said they have many softwares that they use. But he now give an example of this one, cellular, that he said many. So all those applications will be on their server. Do you understand? And then so so I've tried to just explain what a desktop application is. Then you can also deploy application software. Of course, when you have when you have a problem and then you want to use software to solve it, then this helps you in such a way that you can now know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
To deploy your software. Then you can also do folder redirection. You can configure network setting. Of course, the network setting, the one we have been doing all the morning. Remember, network setting, all this one we're doing all through morning. So I was just trying to take you through GPO again. Your scope for GPO can be site, domain. Remember all this diagram. I intentionally kept them so that you can remember. So that anything here under the domain will affect everything here, right? And then everything here inside there. Good. All right. So we're trying to look at implement GPO inheritance. All right. So for block inheritance, configure a domain organizational unit to prevent the inheritance of public policy setting. Configure a domain or organizational unit to prevent.
She didn't want to read that. Keep her now. Why would she be using that to trouble ones?
Mr. Kawade, can you mute, please? Thank you. So configure a domain or organizational units to prevent the inheritance of public setting, policy setting. Okay, so like you can see, this is the policy. Remember from your marketing, this is the policy. If you right click on it, you will see block inheritance. So what does this do? It prevents inheritance of policy setting. So that any users or any users or any application put there, it will take effect. Okay. Now enforce a GPO link. Now, what does that mean? GPO takes the highest level of precedence. Policy setting in that GPO prevail over any conflicting policy settings in other GPO. So that is once you set a GPO, what you now need to do, you can enforce it. So once you enforce it, it starts working. You start telling it you should do what you want to do. Then evaluating precedence. Precedent means group policy inheritance tab display the resulting precedent of a GPO. Okay, so let's just fire on. Now let's look at domain-based GPO. Remember, domain-based. Remember, can you see? Can you see the way they highlighted this? You can see this thing is very simple to learn. You can see contoso.com, that's a domain name, right? So,
So I was writing the other one.
hello?
So I was writing the other one, please. I
Okay,
was writing there.
be very fast about it.
So this GPO inheritance, block inheritance, enforce GPO link, evaluatory precedence. Those are the methods of implementing the GPO inheritance. Abi? Hello, hello, Mr. Dotun. Hello,
Can
hello,
you hear me
Mr.
now?
Dotun.
I can hear you now.
I was asking. I said, so this all these things are um the implement the GPO inheritance. You can block the inheritance, enforce the GPO link, and evaluate precedence. Abi? There are ways of implementing
Yes,
GPO inheritance.
exactly. Do you understand? You can block it, you can enforce it, and also evaluate it.
Okay. So these are ways in implementing it.
Yes.
All right, sir. Okay.
So look at domain-based GPOs. I've highlighted domain. So it means it's going to affect everything inside this domain, right? So I want us
Yes, sir.
to rush. So this page shows that the status of Active Directory and sys volume replication domain, blah blah, infrastructure. Okay. Now, create and store domain. See, it helps you to create and store domain-based GPO on a domain controller. On a domain controller. Like I've told you, your domain controller controls other domains, right? It controls the users, it controls the so that means they promoted this contoso.com as a what? As a DC, domain controller. As a DC. So it means that you might have other DCs here, other this thing in this place. Okay, so a domain has two default GPOs. Number one, default domain policy, which is this one. Can you see? Can you see it here?
Okay.
So you have to glue your eye to your screen now because this thing. So default domain policy linked to the domain. You can see it is linked to this domain. So it have to affect everything inside the domain and applies to authenticated users. So what does it mean by authenticated users? Same any users that are inside this domain. So it applies to all of them, including your IT managers, your marketing, whatever you are putting there. Then the other two type, the second type is your default domain controller policy, which is this one. So you can see now. So this is also linked to the organizational unit of the domain controller. Do you get the idea now? So what can you manage with GPUs? Okay, so look at it. So this one should not be something new to you. You can manage your users, you can manage your computers, Abi. So computer configuration. Nodes contain your node means your computers contains the settings that apply to computers regardless of who logs in on them. So which means that, for example, if your computers, you can configure your screensaver, you can configure your background screen, you can configure a whole lot of things. Regardless of whoever logs in, it will be the same thing. So for user configurations too, the load contains settings that apply when a user logs in to a computer during a background refresh. You understand? So that means you have put some, for example, if you want to log in now, you say your password must be 12 character. If you don't reach to 12 character, it will not accept you. You understand? Mr. Kaude?
In our ear.
What do you say?
Say it is something
Mr.
in our
Dotun,
ear.
Sorry, you.
I'm
Me, I never trust this man.
I'm about to
What did you say,
say
sir?
you should just say. You called me.
Yes, I wanted to say that. Hey, I wanted to say something. Okay, now at work, at work, there are sometimes that you just discover that you're about to log into your computer and it says you should change your password.
Sure. Yes. State asked me last week.
It's you can see now. So you
I
have that
experienced
experience.
that last week.
Exactly. So that's a GPO working. You can see.
Okay.
So this is what you're experiencing.
Okay.
It can be computer configuration anyway. You understand?
Okay.
Brother
Tun.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask this question. I got what you said about the GPO now. I got it, but where I need clarification now again is that, like the cellulant of a thing I made mention. Now, how is it that the GPO too, because the cellulant is just a tool for us to work. So I'm now trying to look at what is the connection of GPOs with that, like with it too. What is the connection? What brings them together?
So look at these statements. The one I underline here. What does your GPU? What does it do? It manage your desktop application settings.
Okay.
Because that application, that software that Solidland belongs to your organization. So they will put it on your server so that everybody in every branches can have access to it. There's what we call software center. Software admin center. They will put it as software admin center so that everybody would have access to it, so that it will appear on every laptop. I mean, every laptop or desktop. Do you understand? So they can put settings there. They can apply. They can say that, for example, you said it's used for is a customer interfacing tool, right? But do you know that that cellular you're talking about is not used by customer service? Is it used by customer service department?
Yeah.
I'm asking, is it used by customer service department?
Hello.
I'm asking, is that cellular used by customer service department? Hello?
Hello, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, brother. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
So I was asking,
your question.
That cellular, is it used by customer service department in your organization?
Yes. Yeah.
Customer service department.
Yes.
Those in marketing, do they have access to it?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't have access to it.
So that's your GPO. So what do you think blocked them out of it? That's your GPO. It has done the first one. It has done the first one called security. Do you get it now?
Okay.
You get the idea now?
Sure.
Don't worry, you will understand us. Okay, so I think Divine GPU storage. Let me see if I can go with Divine GPU storage before we start. Let me see. So let's finish this. So define DPO storage so that everything around GPO we are done with it. So GPO includes two components. You understand? I hope you are writing. Naya, you are writing those short things. So the group policy container. So now we are talking about container. The container serves like a storage. You understand? Where all those policies you are creating.
So you are not finished based GPUs now.
Sorry?
You've not finished domain-based GPUs.
We are done now. We are done now. See everything I did. This is it now. Where were you? Where were you?
Now went back.
Madam, after doing this, I did this. See, you can see. Have you forgotten? Or you just tell me that you did not listen. You were not listening.
You know, okay, finish this one. I was listening. You know,
Okay,
see the other
let
the
me
one after this.
run so that I can be justified to say now which amount of money you pay.
Yeah, just one more
Okay.
part.
Now create and store domain based GPU. So your domain based GPU helps you to create one and then helps you to store two. Your domain based GPU on domain controller. So now remember, this is your domain. So this is the domain based GPU. We're now saying that there are two types of domain based GPU. Number one is default domain policy. That's why I underlined this one now. Where were you? And then the number two is your default domain controller policy. And this one is inside this organizational unit called domain controller. We've been doing this now. You understand? So what does this first one do? This first one here at the top, it is linked to the old domain and then authentication of users. See here, I said it now. What does the second one do? This one is linked to the domain controller. Simple. And then I told you what can you manage with GPU? You can manage your users, you can manage your computers, you can manage your applications, you can manage your security, a whole lot. Okay.
Okay,
So
remember.
now want to define your GPU storage. That is when you create all those GPUs, they are like file. You put them in a place called container. It's called
Yeah.
group policy container. Do you understand? So this container is in the Active Directory and it is stores in GPU metadata. Don't worry about this. This is an advanced word, advanced technical word.
We are protesting. Oh.
What's going on? Who's
Now only with the
protesting?
job. We are protesting.
I cannot keep myself. So group policy templates. So there are two type of components. We look at group policy container. Is the container where all your GPUs are stored is in Active Directory, and then it stores as GPU metadata. Then your GPU template is a collection of files stores in sys_volume. There are two type of memories. There are two type of memories in your Active Directory domain. Can you remember?
So what is that?
There are two type of memories. There's two type of memory. Everything you have in your Active Directory domain is stored in a database. Two type of database: sys_volume and your ntdl.dl. And I know I showed you. I don't know if you were writing that time. But let me go back because of now. Remember, your domain controllers are servers that host the Active Directory domain service database. So this database are in ntds.dit and what? Sys_volume, system volume. So write it down. So pass away your coil. So I told you they use Kerberos for authentication. You understand?
Sir?
Right, so let me go back
I
to
didn't
where
know
we
you
are.
said that.
Don't worry, that one
So
don't
you are
pass.
too fast now.
You are not listening now.
Let me
Only God knows what I'm doing there.
listen. Why will I not be here? There's nothing going on in my background. I will can on the camera and
Let
see.
your screen be glued to your eyes be glued to your screen. There's so
You
much
are
to
too
learn,
fast.
oh. There's so
I
much to
know now.
learn, my
But
sister. Yeah. You need to don't worry, you will grab it. You will grab it. You will grab it. So I told you
there's
there are
no
two
need to
types.
rush, and I don't understand what you're saying.
You said?
I don't. So please, that other one you said we should write, I didn't write it. I haven't finished writing it. Please.
Which other
And
one
what's
are
the
you writing?
sys And what's the
Which other
sys
one are you
volume?
writing?
Did
You
this
don't need
thing
to
you're
write.
talking
You don't
about?
need to write any. You don't need to write everything. When I say you should write, just for example, if I say you should write something here, I'll just say write this one, write this one. Oton. You don't need to write everything. You are not doing Cambridge now. Then you just need to understand the concept. Do you get?
Okay. What's the thing beside
So
this volume? NC something.
NTDS. Let me go back again. NTDS.dit. So
What is it?
ADDS
Yeah,
database
so-
is stored in NTDS.this volume and sys volume.
they are stored in the ADDS database.
Read what is there now.
I don't know.
Hello.
We can continue.
Do you understand the difference between NDTDS and sys volume?
Yes.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I don't because I don't want us to go back. You're not explaining it to me. I'm trying to tell you that I don't understand.
Read this line. Read this
I've
first
read
line.
there are
Don't-
servers that host the ADDS database. Is it NTDS and sys volume that are the domain controllers, or they're the things that's inside the server? What am I saying? And what
Okay.
are they? I don't know.
Okay. But you know your ADDS is a database. Are you
Yes.
getting what I'm saying? Is a database. So your
Yes.
database will be stored in a place. So they are stored in these two things, the one I wrote 1 and 2 on top. Do you understand now?
Okay. Are stored in these forms in the servers.
Yes.
Hey, that's what I just want to know.
Praise the Lord. Now you know. Let's move on. So now one of those is now referenced here now, which is your sys volume. So which means that your group policy templates are stored in your sys volume. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
At least you know they are not stored in the NTDL. You understand? So other things are also
Yes.
stored in the NTDL. But when it comes to group policy, they are stored where? Sys volume of each of the domain controller. So GPO replication. The GPO policy container in ADDS replicates by the directory replicant agent. So the GPO policy template in the sys volume replicate by using the distributed file system replication. Okay, so this one is a bit advanced. Let's skip. Now, can you see all of this now? All of this thing you are seeing, all of this thing now. I don't want to be writing on top. Everything you are seeing now, they are stored inside the NTDLs and your sys volume. Everything you are seeing here. But like you already know that your policy or GPU are stored in sys volume. Do you understand? So now
Yes, sir.
you need to define administrative templates. They are templates, which means that, of course, everything you can just do a walk around them. But it helps you to do your administration. No, remember your GPU is part of what you do to administer your server, your administrative tools. Do you get it? Remember, I said that in the morning. Okay. So two set of administrative templates is it can be computer related settings and user related settings. You can see that these themes is reoccurring. Should I show you again? Let me go back. What can you
I remember.
manage with GPU? That's why I'm going back now. What can you manage before you say I'm too fast? What can you manage with GPUs? Computer configurations. This one contains every setting that apply to all computers. Every setting that apply to all your users. So now let's go back. Now, when it comes to administrative templates, it's still the same thing they are saying. You use your policy, your GPUs to control everything that is computer related or user related. Simple. So these are the extension files. Okay, they are called the extension files. You know what do you know what
Extension.
this means? Do you know what an extension
No,
file
sir.
is?
No, sir.
My IT guru. If you have a
Right.
Word document,
Guru.
if you have a Word document called Naya, a Word document, or if you don't know what document, if you save it,
I know.
if you save it in Word document, it will be Naya dot what? Doc. You have never seen that one before.
You know the docs, DOCX,
Yeah,
CX.
you're even correcting me. You're even correcting me. So if you save it in Excel, what do you have? If you save it in Excel, what do you have? Oh yeah, epo ti tán. Before you don't finish.
I remember. XEX something.
XLS. If you save it in
Yes.
PDF, what do you have?
In what, sorry?
If you save it in PDF, what do you have?
PDF. It's really in PDF.
Yes, .pdf. I just want you to say
PDF.
.pdf. Do you understand? So all of these are called file extension, file extension, file extension. So if you save anything coming from this template, if you save it will, this is the file extension .adminx whatever, you understand? That's just the idea. So all currently supported operating system stores the settings in this policy definition folder stores. So now when you create a policy, it will be stored in this. So when you are trying to define the policy, it will be stored in this too, in this folder. So what is the central store? A central repository for this extension and this extension files. Okay, so you can see now a central store. So what does your central store does? It stores anything that has this extension and all this that has this extension. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand now? So if you come to your computer configuration, see, look at this default domain policy. Remember default domain policy. It affects your domain controller. Hello, are we together? It affects your domain controller. Default domain policy. Oh, I should go back for you to see it because I said you should glue your eye to your screen. Look at it. Your default domain controller is under your what? Your domain controller. So if you click on it now, let's assume that you click on this. So it will now show you this thing that we are teaching here. So if you click on it now, see, if you click on it, default domain controller, it will give you what. Remember what I mean by drop down? Do you remember the other time? You can see you have computer configuration, then you have what? You have your hello, you have what?
Yeah, policies. Policies.
Look at it very well. Look at this drop down. Look at you have computer configuration, and then you have what?
User configuration. User configuration.
Are you sure you are looking at this screen? So I was explaining this drop down to you the other time. So you can see if you click on this drop down and click on this drop down. Hello.
Hi.
What is going on there? Is it your network? Are you talking to someone else?
I'm not talking to anybody.
Sometimes
You're saying
you look as if you're talking to me. Sometimes you look as if. Can you see a drop down here? Can you see a drop down here?
Yes, sir.
So what's in front of the drop down?
User configuration.
So can you see the template now? User, always follow my arrow. That's why I'm using this red thing. Always follow the arrow. I don't know, maybe you're looking somewhere else. Or you're not seeing
I'm
it.
not seeing it. It's too tiny.
Madam, are you using mobile device?
I wish.
I don't get. You're using mobile device to join this class.
I'm not using mobile device. My screen.
Okay. Oh, your computer is pumped up.
No.
Yeah, so why are you not saying this? This is in PowerPoint. In fact, what I'm presenting to you is this in full my screen.
It's just tiny in my side. That's all. Drop down.
Okay, are you the one sharing? Are you the one sharing?
Yes, it's me, sir.
Okay, so now this is it. Okay, do you know the issue? Do you know the issue?
What's the issue, sir?
You joined this meeting inside web, right?
Yes.
Why?
That's the only one that agrees to open. I don't know if I tried to open it on
No.
the same app. I don't know why it's not opening.
See, that web will be too small for you. That's why you're experiencing that. You shall kept complaining that it's small, it's small. That's why now. It will be too small now, except if you increase. I don't know what to do now, and I don't have time to be explaining this. You need to just let your. Do you understand?
Don't
So
worry,
you
let's
need
go
to
out.
just move closer to your screen so that you can see it. That's why I'm using that red underline for you to see it. So you have to move closer to your screen. If that is the case, there's nothing we can do. So that you won't miss. If not, it's making me feel like we are already slowing down. Do you get? And we don't need to slow down. All right, so we need to move to the next one. All right, so now let me on your VM. So in the next 2 minutes, hello.
Hi.
The next 2 minutes, you can log into your VM. I've started it, so
Mm.
the next 2 minutes, so it's still starting. Of course, you know your password, username and password. Log into your VM.
So I don't understand. We should go to Azure.
You don't need to go to share your screen, please. Please share your screen. Hello.
I've
We are go
shared
to
it, sir.
we are search for RDP. This is not the first time you are logging in now. You know what to do now. If I say go into your VM, you look for RDP and you log in. Enter. Okay, so paste that IP address. You still remember your username and password? Go to more choices. Or just put your password. Let's see. I think it has now been. I expect that you should have written that thing out inside your notes because I know you are taking notes. This is taking our time. Just log in.
What is that? Oh. Huh? So why are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How far?
I'm good. I've logged in.
Okay, you have logged in. Okay, that's good. Just a minute. Sakari, can you pause mute, please? Okay, so that's that window admin center, remember? Hello, Naya.
Yes, I remember.
Okay.
I should click on it.
No. Just cancel it. I'm just telling you. That's another way of what's happening. Something is wasting time. You will believe. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Let me try on now. Okay, I'm coming now. Just a minute. Oh, I'm expecting something to load and then it's taking my time. That's why. Just a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I said I was expecting something to load, so it's taking time.
What was that, sir? What was that?
No. It has loaded. Instructions
Okay.
now. Yes. It's instructions for. So now, can you hear me? The way
Yes,
you are
sir.
breathing inside your you are breathing inside your. So now, what we want to do now, we teach you. You are as an attending IT professional, I guess, right? You want to be an IT professional.
By God's grace.
So I can't hear you. Talk to me.
I said yes, by God's grace.
Okay, good. So this will teach you how to manage core Windows Server workload. I will explain what a workload is to you. A workload is the amount of work you are doing on the server. So for example, if you put some applications there, some softwares and all that, they all become part of your workload, right? So you understand? So, and then also the services you are using on your on-premises, hybrid, and then cloud technology. So like I said, we are going to be, helping you to learn all the on-premises and then hybrid and the cloud. That was the promise I gave you. So, I mean, what you're going to be doing now will teach you on how to implement and manage your on-premises and hybrid solution, such as identity management, compute, networking, storage, and Windows Server. All right. So the first thing you're going to be doing now is to deploy an EDDS to a new Windows Server core. Okay. So now you already have a server, right?
Yes, sir.
Please, I need prompt answer, please, because of time. I need to be sure that we are flowing.
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes.
I have to put the speaker in my mouth. Right.
Okay. It's okay. I understand. I just want us to flow because I want you to do, because we have less than 1 hour now to do, because I can do a lot. So now you are sharing your screen, I guess. You're not sharing your screen. What's going on?
I stopped it though.
Why now? Oh, wow.
Thought there was no need again now.
Hey, we. Madam, share your screen, especially your VM. That's what I want to see.
Should I close the server and go back to Teams?
Why would you close server? Jesus. Minimize your server.
Okay.
Have you minimized your server? Or you
Yes.
don't know how to? Yes, minimize your server. Go back to your Teams. Share your desktop, not Windows.
I'm sharing it.
I need to see the whole of your desktop. Good. Now click on your RDP. Or wait, before you do that, minimize this browser first. I don't want to see it.
Which browser? Sorry, which browser, sir?
Minimize your browser. Cancel this. Cancel this. Cancel this. So you can see that you are inside your VM, right?
Yes.
Now go to the edge of this dark blue line and drag it all together. Don't bring server. Please, at this point, follow instruction. At this point, follow instructions. Carry your cursor to the top. The edge of that thing that you are touching. That's not the edge. The edge. Drag it down. Just bring your cursor down a little. I can't see. Take it back to the edge so that I can see your cursor. Now, click it down. You are not using mouse.
I'm using
Do you have a mouse?
I'm not using it. I'm using the laptop.
Do you have a mouse?
No.
Please buy a mouse. Madam, please calm down. Or you are using one hand to even do this. Are you sure you are ready for this thing like this?
So I don't know what else you want me to do. You told me to go to the edge. That's where I am.
Now you are at the edge. Your cursor has changed to 2 arrows, right?
Yes.
Now click. I don't know, since you don't have a mouse, click it down and drag it to the left. No. Drag it, let it close. Close it. Exactly. Yeah, let it be closer. Do it again. It's okay. If that is, it's okay. Now, please, is it possible for you to get a mouse before this week runs out? Please, try and get a mouse. I know what I'm saying. Try and get a mouse.
Okay.
You're about to learn something that would, at the rate of the speed will be very high. Try and get a mouse. Please, I beg you. Please, try and get 1,000 naira. The one that has wire. When you pass through Ikeja, just get a mouse. Please, it's very important. I know what I'm saying. When I say click down, especially those of you girls that use one hand in doing something, it stresses me out, and I don't want to be stressed out. So when you get a mouse, it's easier to use your one hand to do a whole lot. Then I will now teach you what to do now by using the other hand on what we call Alt Tab. Do you get me now? Alt Tab. I'll teach you Alt Tab. So bring up your server manager. Okay, now, so the first assignment you are going to be doing now is to deploy your ADDS on a new Windows Server core, which you already have. So to install your ADDS server role, at the Windows PowerShell command prompt, enter the following command and then press enter. Now, look for PowerShell. So type PowerShell.